Am I getting it? I think so. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me once again. We're doing something quite different. Well, it's been a long time since I've done a bass guitar review. That, and the fact that this is a fretless instrument, a 1996 Pedulla Pentabuzz to be exact, makes me feel like a fish out of water. I love fretless. I love the way it sounds. It's so fun to play, but I still feel quite lost on it. It takes me quite a long time to get back in the fretless groove. You've probably seen me play my homemade area CSB 380 fretless. I don't know how good of an idea that was to make a short scale bass into a fretless, but it was cheap and I learned, and so I'm happy with it. It sounds pretty good actually, but this is a full scale 34-inch scale instrument. It's a Pedulla Pentabuzz 1996, like I said. It's a bit unusual in two respects compared to other Pedullas. Let's get right to it. First off, look at these pickups. Look at that. 2 single coils. Of course, a black bass is a challenge to photograph. We're going to see lights all over the place. I think it looks pretty though, so I quite enjoy that. Hopefully you do too. Okay, so that's one way in which this is different. Usually you see this with a split coil P here. So you have that PJ set up. This instrument was ordered as such with 2 jazz pickups, so 2 single coils. They might be stacked, I'm not sure. They sure are quiet. That could be the preamp though. That brings me to the second thing I mentioned. I believe that this is using a Bartolini TC4 preamp. And what that means is that compared to other Pedullas, you have just 3 control knobs. Now this is very interesting, and we'll get into this a little bit more. Here, let me turn the volume down so we don't get all sorts of resonances. But so here we have master volume. Here we have pickup balance. So neck, both, bridge, or in between. The in between sounds are fairly usable. And this one, now this is where the real magic is with this preamp, because obviously with just one knob, it's not going to be just a bass or a treble control. Now what it is, and I'm not 100% sure, but my ears tell me this is what's happening. My ears plus my research. From 0 to the center detent feels like a tone control. But if you boost it past that, it's doing some kind of overdrive preamp kind of a thing. And if you look at the documentation on that TC4 preamp, it can be wired that way. And yes, this is a active bass. It's got a really nicely made cavity cover there. And there is a battery in there. So yeah, it really behaves like a passive bass with these 3 simple controls, but it's quiet, and that preamp is really nice. And I'll do my best to illustrate it. So let's get to some sounds. So I'm going to turn the bass all the way up. I mean, the bass guitar volume all the way up. And let's go. Okay, we can start there. So let's play a little lick here. So this is kind of a classic, very burpy, fretless sound. All right, some of you might recognize that lick. It's sort of sort of like it. Put it down in the comments if you know what that was sort of like. All right, so that's your classic sort of fretless burpee sound. Let's go in the other direction. And this is full neck pickup. And especially if you combine it with a lighter touch up here, playing it up here, you can get a reasonable uprighty kind of sound. All right, now let's go towards the middle, and you can really get a very bassy, clean sound with the pickup blend in the middle. Something like this. Now, just because we can and we have a 5-string, let's do that an interval down, a fourth down, let's say. And of course, if we turn it this way, or this way, we get the classic burpee sort of Jacko-esque sound. And here would be a good opportunity to display the preamp overdrive thingy. So right now we're right in the middle, and I'm just going to push it all the way up for maximum effect. And you can hear that you don't hear anything. It's not like this boost, this hissy boost, but listen to what we have now. So you can hear it really pushes those harmonics, just makes it sound fuller. It does sound a little bit louder. It might actually be a little bit louder, but it's not necessarily a volume boost. It's more like a punch harmonics kind of a boost, kind of like overdriving your preamp, like a nice Neve or something like that. But it's all in your bass, so it's pretty magical. You could use it as a kind of a boost too, right? All right, so again, I'm not a great fretless player. I'm going to be practicing a lot on this bass. Those are some basic sounds. Why don't we do something, let's leave that preamp on a sort of overdrive there. And what I'm going to do now is play a lick and play it on each string or each set of strings. You'll see what I mean. And it's just a kind of like a third, minor fifth, fifth, major seventh kind of a lick that I just like to play around with. So let's start down here on the E, and I'm going to go back to full neck pickup, and we're just going to cycle through. I'll try to go as quickly as I can. So here I'm going to illustrate that touching it or playing it lightly can yield a pretty clean sound like this. However, if I really dig in, I can get that moi. I can accentuate that. more so on the G string. Let's try that. Just a really beautiful singing tone this bass has. And let's cycle through the pickups. Of course, the more mids we have in the sound, the greater that singing quality is. Let's see what it sounds like with both pickups. Let's try that again on all the strings. So as you can hear, the mids get scooped like they normally get scooped with a dual pickup bass, one that doesn't have an active mix system. All right, let's go over to full bridge. So there you go. There's some basic sounds from this Pedulla Pentabuzz. By the way, it's being strung at the moment with the D'Addario Chrome flat ones. So I hope you enjoyed that. And coming up, I'm gonna practice the heck out of a couple of songs and try to play along to some of my favorite fretless bass lines. So I hope to see you soon. All right, take it easy. Bye-bye.